everybody. How are you today? I am a flower. And you're probably wondering, why is there a flower on your screen? Well, I'm here to teach you, with my friends over here, about Perek Chav Dalet. That's chapter 24 in the book of Shemot.
That's right. We are the witnesses to the great miracles that happened on Mount Sinai in those days, because God made the desert bloom with beautiful flowers like us. And it was really awesome. It all began when all the people were camped at the foot of Har Sinai, and Moshe Rabbeinu went all the way up to the top of the mountain to talk with Hashem.
We were very, very frightened from all of that noise.
But we felt so privileged to be making the mountain beautiful while Hashem was giving the Torah.
And then Moshe came down from the mountain and he said to the people, Hashem has this wonderful Torah to give you. Will you be his nation? Will you accept his laws?
And all of them answered with one voice, and they said, Na'aseh v'nishma, which means we will do and we will hear and listen.
And that, my friends, was one of the most awesome statements the Jews made in our whole history. It was an awesome statement because everyone knows if you're getting ready to sign a contract with somebody, you better find out what's in it before you sign. You might get in trouble and find out that it says something that you weren't ready to do.
But the Jewish people just trusted Hashem, and they trusted that Hashem was good, and anything in his Torah and his contract would be good for them. So they just said, we'll do it, and we'll find out what's in it later. We accept. We trust Hashem.
And Hashem was really proud of the Jewish people and their trust and faith in him. Well then, Moshe Rabbeinu came down the mountain, and the Torah says that Moshe wrote all of these things, and our Rashi explains that Moshe Rabbeinu wrote down the Torah from Bereshit all the way until the time of the giving of the Torah. Now, boys and girls, that is not the whole Torah yet. Hashem kept on telling Moshe what to write down all of those years that Moshe was leading the Jews through the desert. Until Moshe was ready to pass away, Hashem even told him, according to some opinions, the writing down of every single word, including the part that says how he passed away. Anyway, Moshe Rabbeinu then went to the foot of Har Sinai. He came to the foot of Har Sinai, and he built a big mizbeach, a big altar. An altar is a place where we make a fire on top and we offer karbanot, animal sacrifices, to Hashem. And some of them are just burnt up. Some of them are actually eaten in celebration. And Moshe built also 12 pillars for the 12 Shivatim. And these 12 pillars,
it was really cool to see Moshe bring all of these karbanot, all of these sacrifices to thank Hashem for giving us the Torah.
Yes, it was really cool. Well, anyway, what happened next was very interesting. Moshe took the blood of the korbanot. He actually sent Kohanim, but the Kohanim of those days were not the Kohanim, the sons of Aaron yet. The Kohanim of those days were the Bechorim, the firstborn Jews. Since God saved the firstborn Jews in Egypt, they were supposed to be the Kohanim. But that's a different story, because later on they lost their privilege because of the sin of the golden calf. But the Torah doesn't tell us about that yet. So the Bechorim, the firstborns, brought the offerings, and then Moshe took the blood of the slaughtered animals and he put it, half of them in basins, in bowls,
and the other half he sprinkled on this altar.
And then Moshe read out loud the Sefer HaBrit, the book of the Torah that he had written. And all of the people then said, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen. Then Moshe took the blood in the basins and he sprinkled some of the blood on the people. And he said to them, with this blood that we are now sprinkling, you are entering into a contract with all of these words of Hashem.
Now, what was going on by this ceremony? Well, this was a very special ceremony.
This was the conversion of the Jewish people to be Hashem's chosen people. You see, before the Jewish people were just like all the other nations of the world. Of course, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were very loyal to Hashem, but they were considered just like the Goyim, just like the nations. But now that they were taking on the Torah, they were now getting a status of the chosen nation, the Jewish people, and they had to convert. And so our rabbis tell us that all the Jewish people went to the mikveh, they dipped in the mikveh to convert. They also made a declaration, they said, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen. And they brought a karban, they brought an offering over there, as well as they had a brit milah. They had a circumcision for the men, of course. Now these practices are still done today. Whenever somebody wants to convert to the Jewish people, they must go to the mikveh, they must have a circumcision if it's a man, and if the Bet HaMikdash is standing, they bring an offering, they bring a sacrifice. These days, when we don't have a Bet HaMikdash, when the convert converts, he only goes to mikveh, and if it's a man, brings a sacrifice, gets a circumcision, and the sacrifice will have to wait for when Mashiach comes. So that was the significance of this ceremony of the sprinkling of the blood on them, was the conversion of the Jewish people accepting of the Torah. Well, boys and girls, the Torah then describes who went up on Mount Sinai. The Torah says that with Moshe, the 70 zikenim, the 70 elders, came up with him part of the way. No one was allowed on the mountain, but the 70 elders came part of the way. And then Aaron and Aaron's sons and Yehoshua came also part of the way. And Moshe went all the way up on the top for 40 days and 40 nights. Now, why did Moshe need to go up for 40 days and 40 nights? Well, Hashem told him to come up to receive the luchot. They already got the 10 commandments, but now Hashem was going to give them the 2 tablets inscribed with the words of the 10 commandments. Now, the Torah says a very strange thing happened. The Zekanim and the sons of Aaron, they were on the way up the Har Sinai, and they saw a vision of Hashem. And it was like a throne, and under the throne they saw like sapphire bricks. And it was as blue as the sky. Our rabbis tell us that, of course, this is a metaphor. We can't say Hashem is like a king sitting on a throne. They saw a type of vision that they saw. And why was it a vision of sapphire bricks under a throne? Because the whole time the Jews were in Egypt, God was feeling their pain, and he put, spiritually speaking, of course, there's no real bricks in heaven, Hashem put these spiritual type of bricks under his throne for them to remind him that the Jews were suffering and making bricks in Egypt.
And then the Torah tells us that the Zeganim, the elders, they ate and they drank.
Now some say this was a big sin. How could they eat and drink at this time? Others explain that they didn't actually eat and drink food. They enjoyed, they were looking at the vision of Hashem's greatness, and they enjoyed it like one eats and drinks food. Either way, this was not considered a good thing, for when you see a vision of Hashem, it's not the time for your enjoyment, it's a time they should have bowed down and been humble and given thanks. Instead, they were focusing on themselves, and later on, they had to be punished for this. And Moshe stayed on top of Har Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights.
Why?
Hello, my name is NeRo, and this is a silly summary of Perek of Dalet, chapter 24. NeRo is chapter 24, you see, because the N is a 2 flipped on its side, and the R is really number 4, because the word 4 has 4 letters, and the 4th letter is an R. So when you see R, think of the 4th letter in the number 4. So NeRo is me, the stone statue of the ancient Roman Emperor Nero.
What exactly do you have to do with this story?
Well, NeRo, I was there at Har Sinai.
No, you weren't. What are you talking about?
This is a silly story. Please be quiet, you little flowers over here. It's my story, not yours. Anyway, so NeRo came to Mount Sinai, and I picked up the mountain. Hey, everybody! I am NeRo, your God. Ha ha ha! Will you accept me? And all the people said, "Now serve and Ishma, we'll do and we'll listen."
You're crazy. We did not accept you. We accepted Hashem.
This is my silly story. And then Moshe built a stone altar made out of a NeRo stone. That's right, and he brought carbonate.
What are you talking about?
That's right, a NeRo stone altar. I love putting myself in the story. And he built 12 statues of NeRo.
What? That is ridiculous.
That's right, 12 statues of NeRo. Let's get 12 statues of NeRo. There we go. We got 3, and we got 4, and we got 5, and we got 6, and we got, okay, you get the point over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, actually, we could just put them all one on top of the other like this. Yes, here we are, 12 statues of NeRo at the foot of Mount Sinai, built by Moshe to celebrate the giving of the Torah.
That is ridiculous. Moshe didn't build any statues of NeRo.
Oh, get out of here, you flowers. Anyway, and then the Torah finishes off with NeRo's going up to Mount Sinai, and there was a great vision of the great NeRo.
Well, boys and girls, I hope you realize that was a ridiculous story, and it's a silly story, of course. NeRo is just meant to remind you that NeRo is 24, and in chapter 24, the Jews said Na'aseh v'nishma, and they built an altar and converted to become Jews, and we saw a vision of Hashem was seen by Mount Sinai, and Moshe went up for 40 days to receive the Torah. Thank you for watching.